the rest of my issues. I've worked out so many. Is I got to work through them. I got to be held accountable. And yeah. And I think because I don't have any friends, literally. I actually, I went out to my girlfriend's. That's the other thing. Like, I need to make more money. If I could make enough money, I could marry my prized possession, my better half. I would love to be able to marry her. We've been together almost 13 years. Can't afford a wedding, Of course, my wedding, I would just like, hey, I want to just get me, let's just go get the paper, do it. That's how I feel. Of course, she's a girl and she always dreamed, and Disney, thanks Disney, but she wants a nice wedding with people there. And if I could afford it, I'd do it. I'd give her whatever she wanted. She deserves that. But we can't. But if I can make a channel, and I guess if people have it and they want to help me either meet goals or do nice things for other people or whatever, then maybe I can make YouTube revenue and maybe eventually make enough to actually be able to get by, because I know I'm never going to make it. So depressing knowing, like, okay, well, who's going to hire me? Because once I get a job, last place I worked, I didn't even finish this. I'm all over the place. Also, my mom's pretty much laying dead in the other room, and that's really hard to deal with, especially after finding her in a coma and doing the CPR and then the hospital and then the hospice, and then now she leaves again. I mean, she spent hospice 5 times for total of at least 70 days. I think she's probably one of the longest people that have ever been to hospice. You go there for a week and a half, 2 tops, and you leave in a bag. My mom has gone for months and leaves walking out after she planted a garden for them. But it's all, so eventually everything comes to an end. So I really liked working at Ben & Jerry's third shift. Actually, the people that I went to their house the other day they both work there, and I worked with them when I worked there. And it's my better half's, I hate saying girlfriend, it just sounds so like childish. Like, she's my common law wife. I believe that's a thing, right? But anyways, yeah, and I actually kind of hung out with people for an hour, and it was all right. I haven't hung out with a person. Well, I guess the last person was Steve, so maybe 6 months ago now since the last. And he only came over here, so it wasn't like I went out and did anything. And then, to be honest with you, I had one friend that I only cared really about that one friend for multiple years. That's the only friend I needed. I don't know. I guess I think with the PTSD, you get let down or something happens, and you kind of like your mind just does stuff, and then next thing you know, it's so you're not unconsciously not trying to get yourself hurt or let down or whatever, but then you're by yourself gaining momentous amounts of weight, abusing the pain pills you're prescribed, and having like just literally wanting to make it each day, because I can't say those words on the thing, but needless to say, I've had some close encounters. I wanted to finish the story about Ben and Jerry's. Okay, so I'm working with this weirdo, and somebody said something about, my boyfriend worked with him here at so-and-so, and they said never to ever, like real seriously, real funny guy, said never, ever let your children around that guy alone. So I went home and looked his name up, and within 2 clicks, there his name is. First name's Kevin, I'll say that. And old Kevin here, 52, he had some charges for, a bunch of child porn accusations. Now, one thing that got let out was one of the higher ups when she was interviewing this younger black girl. Color doesn't really matter, but a younger woman, and she stopped and looked over and said, "Is that guy's name's Kevin?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think so. It is. Why?" And like the girl got really like upset and this and that, and then she said, "Well, he used to be friends with my dad, and he used to molest and rape me." So I believe they went in the other room. She was really upset and shaken. Eventually she left and never came back. Well, then that got told to me because my girlfriend's higher than me. And of course, people say stuff. Well, the problem with me is I was sodomized and abused, and molested when I was younger, young, way young. And just the idea of working with a dirty old man like that, hand to hand, so I asked, hey, can you either just move me, somewhere, or what? I just don't want to work hand to hand with a guy. Okay, you guys want to hire those kind of people? They don't even have to do temp work. They just automatically get hired on. That's your prerogative. I think it should say on the back of the ice cream that they have pedophiles making your ice cream. I mean, they're so proud to take these tax breaks. And yeah, okay, do they deserve a second chance at life? No, I don't really think they do. To be honest with you, I think it'd be a great idea if there's a program that all convicted, dead to rights, child abusers and women rape, whatever, all their organs should be harvested and given to other people. That's what they should do. You know what I mean? Maybe they'd stop. Hey, I don't want to end up dead next year. And yeah, that's what they should do. They should harvest their bodies. I think that'd help out a lot of people. Instead of helping. So I asked the boss, and he's like, he doesn't understand it. He's like, but he didn't molest you. No, he didn't. But to be honest with you, when I'm working with that guy, it brings up memories of this other person, and it just it has mentally messed with me since I know whatever. I just don't want to work with the guy. And he's like, yeah, but he's been nice. He's been fine with you, right? I'm like, well, he's kind of lazy and he only does one thing. He doesn't want to do anything else. He just wants to push the buttons on the freezers. That's it. But besides that, no, he's not done anything to me. I just don't I was getting really upset. I'm like, I don't want to work with a pedophile. I don't want to work with that kind of guy. I just can't. Mentally, I can't handle it. So he's like, okay, I'm not going to make you work with him. So the next few days, our line's down. So we're doing other stuff. I was in different areas, fine. That next Sunday night, when you come in for the week, I come in, and the board, my name's there right next to his. And so I wait till after. I'm like, is there a mess up? Where am I? And he's like, no, you're out there. I'm like, well, what do you mean? You told me the end of last week I didn't have to work with Kevin and you weren't going to make me. Well, I didn't say that. I'm like, yes, you did. You definitely said that. Well, even if I did, talk to the hires up and he passed our background check. And so you either work with him or you don't have a job. So, I ended up leaving, lost my job. After I regretted it, I'm like, I could have worked with him. I could have just bid it down and whatever. I'm trying to, because I really like the people there, most of them. But the higher ups, the big wigs said, nope, he passed our background check. Now, I had a simple assault from, I don't know, 6 years ago, and I couldn't even get a job there. And it was I was going, whatever, it doesn't matter, but I was going through a rough time. I was still drinking at the time, and whatever. Somebody did something to my family member, and I just went and grabbed him. I didn't even hurt him, and I couldn't work there. But a guy who has been caught at least with child porn and been accused of doing other things. So I leave, and he's there. And he's there, and he's there. And, I think about it a lot, and I'm like, I can't. I was really mad at myself, I could have did it. And then all of a sudden, my better half comes home and says, you won't guess what happened. I'm like, okay, what? And I had no clue. And she's like, well, guess who's in jail? I'm like, oh, God, who? Kevin. I said, no way. He didn't, did he? She said, yep, 2 little girls. He got 2 little girls. So he was making $20 an hour, getting free glasses from Ben & Jerry's, hired on full-time with benefits, right? Being a snapper, and using all that big paycheck to take cabs because he couldn't drive, or I don't know if he knows how to or if he's allowed to or whatever. But he'd take cabs, and he went down to Burlington and somehow got his hands on 2, I think, girls under the age of 13, I believe. So then he kept calling out, made sure to call out every day from jail, and they just had to follow all the procedures before they let him go. But it's just so funny that they, instead of just moving a victim of sexual abuse, right, just moving me somewhere else, like even to a shitty position, I don't care. I just don't want to work hand to hand with the guy. I had the creeps about him in the beginning, but I'm like, no, you can't be, whatever. But then when you find out that stuff, and then even the stuff about the girl really got me. The child porn, like, okay, he's a freak, weirdo, you don't have to like the guy, whatever. But then when I heard the story about the rape and the molestation, I kind of, it took it to a different place in my head, and it's not about him anymore. It's about the night terrors and the thoughts, and then the other thoughts that come with that, which are negative about myself. And it's not healthy. You can't do that for 8-9 hours a day. But Ben and Jerry's, the higher up, not Ben or Jerry, I'm sure, because now they're mostly owned by a company called, gosh, I forget what it's called, but a big company, Unilever. And so then he got fired anyways. So it's like, can you imagine if you just didn't pick the pedophile? And not only, he wasn't, I'm sure he was a pedophile then, because that girl said, whatever. And that came from a higher up, one of the higher ups told the story because she interviewed her. So they helped pay for pedophiles. That's basically my story. And it's too bad because, like I said, the people there were great. Okay, this video is way too long. Oh yeah, what else was I going to say? Yeah, so I would like to have maybe like a cat shelter or an animal shelter. I think that would be sweet. Foster kids, a lot of animals to love, and then who knows from there. But those are some of the goals I really want to meet, and I know I can't do it making $15 an hour. And honestly, now that I'm over 400 and something pounds and I sweat the way I do, the last job I got, they let me go. One of the reasons was because the person that was living with my mom, helping take care of her, took off, stole her stuff. So I had to go take care of that. But I know the other reason was because I sweat, because I was making baby formula at the time, which doesn't really involve much. I was only touching the can part before it was finished. But you're sweating everywhere. So yeah, people, they hire you. You might sweat a little in your interview. I have sweat pills. They sometimes work. Sometimes they work so good that you get these brain headaches of where you can feel your head, your mouth's dry, your hands are dry, and you don't want to lick your hands and your fingers, but moisturizer just feels weird. It dries up, and it's a blood pressure pill. I don't know. It works great for sweat. Literally works. Guy something. So working through issues, trying to make a living, holding myself accountable, bettering myself, trying to help others. And that's the dream, right? So I'm Nate, Uncle Nate, and I guess you're going to hear a lot about my life, my pretty messed up life. So if people like messed up stuff, some good, some bad, and in between. But I do have a big heart. I've been through some pretty rough, traumatic things. I don't know how much of that you can share before then you become a demonetized person, or however that works. I'm not sure. But yeah. Plus, I don't know. Anyways, I'm sure this video is super long. I can't see because I'm blinded by the light. Yeah, but we've lived here for 5 years. I can't live in a basement anymore. Well, you know what? I'll just take you for the walk. Some stuff I had to do. Actually, I didn't even talk about my feelings about what I wanted to, but I don't know. It's like a counseling session almost. All right, I guess I'm gonna go outside. You feeling okay? No? You okay? Have you taken your medicine or anything? Huh? Okay, well, I talked to Lizzie. She's going to try to get medicine transferred up here, but you got to take your medicine. You can't just lie there like that. If you would like to go to your house, just tell me. I'll bring you. The problem with it is there, as you know, is that it's not very big, and it stinks for me to have to pack a bag and then go for your house for a week, come back here for a week, go back a year, and then leave you alone and then worry about you. Like, I don't know. It's really hard, and you're getting to the point now where I just don't think that's good for you. Now, we're going to get rid of this couch, and we're going to put your hospital bed right here. But you got to take your medicine, whatever we have now. She asked what you're missing. I said, I'm pretty sure you have everything except for a couple things and whatever. But as soon as they get those hospice people up here, they can help you get other medicines too. So, yeah. So anyways, are you hungry? Can I get you anything? Sure? All right, well, I don't know where your meds thing is here. Let me, see. No, I still can't see. Yeah, it's way long. Okay, square.